All right, ladies and gentlemen, April lucky 13th. All right, you got to love that, April 13th. All right, we are very fortunate, okay, from the lovely state of California, from Orange County, all right, the Anaheim Hills office. As a matter of fact, number one in all Berkshire Hathaway in that region. We have Ronda Smith. Ronda, welcome to the call.
Thank you, Rick.
Right.
Happy to be here.
All right. And I know is this your first year being number one in all of Orange County for us?
Yes. I think the highest I had been prior to this was number 9.
Isn't that great? So you've had an incredible 2025. Tell us, first off, tell us about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff, please.
I started in the business in 2007. I was with Tarbell. I think Tarbell did an amazing job training all their new agents. So almost 20 years. Next year will be 20 years.
That's great. Yeah, I love Tarbell. I remember when we did the merger or the acquisition, whatever you want to call it. When I was at Mike Ferry, check this out. You're going to love this. When I was at Mike Ferry in 1995, one of the first full-time, I think I was the first full-time as an independent contractor for Mike Ferry. I was an independent, but I decided to go into it full-time. Mike and I worked out something, and I had 2 or 3 of my agents I coached were from Tarbell way back then.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Tarbell did have a reputation for especially training the new agent, getting them up and running quick too. Great. So it was really fun for me as we did the merger, and I traveled around to all the Tarbell offices and did training for them too. It was a blast.
That's great. Yes, I love Tarbell, and I thought it was a wonderful way to start. And then when Berkshire Hathaway purchased us, it just stepped it up another level.
Yes. My little joke, I don't know if you remember this, but it's going to sound corny, but when I did my first, I called it my Tarbell tour, going to the different offices doing training, my line was, Tarbell was swell. Now you're going to learn to slay with Cabernet. All right. I thought it was hilarious. That. Okay. There you go.
I like it.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. All right. So 2025. Number one, first off, congratulations. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not sure if you were as excited as Jenny was. Jenny was massively excited about it. So your manager is definitely in your camp. But tell us a little about this year. That year, how'd you do it? All that good stuff.
Well, I think it was 19 years in the making. I had a landlord that I handled all of his rentals. He was a retired broker, had an office for many, many years, or several offices, I understand. And he had accumulated, I don't even know the number, maybe 35 or so rental properties.
Wow.
And I got the job through a social contact to handle their rentals. And rentals are not fun. It's just about as much work as a sale. You have to take pictures. You have to put it in the MLS. You have to take applications and meet people there and show it and take telephone calls. And you don't get paid near as much as you would on a sale. But over the last 12 years, I handled these leases, and some people would stay 1 year, some people would stay 4 or 5 years. And then recently, in the last 6 years, they would stay 4, 5, 6 years because there's not very many other leases they could move into. There's a shortage of inventory, just as there is in the market for sales. So my landlord, I call him his name is Mr. Allen, became ill. He was in his 90s, and he decided, and his family decided, that they did not want to handle rental property any longer and manage it. So one by one, we started, when the lease was up and they would move out, I would go in and make suggestions on what to do to prepare it for sale. The contractors would come in, fix it up, and we'd put it on the market, and we would sell it. So
wow.
that is how my last year, 2025, was such an amazing year. We went through probably about half of the properties that they had accumulated. Unfortunately, he passed in last July.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's a bit of a bittersweet moment for me, and I loved him dearly. He gave me so much advice and so much information with his years of experience. Somewhat of a mentor, really. And he was a slave driver. He would say to me, "All right, tell me how much I can lease it out the way it is. Tell me how much I can lease it out if we put in new bathrooms and kitchen. Tell me what the price is if we were to sell it." So every property, I would do all that work. And that's always good practice because that's what we do anyway. And anyway, that's how it all happened. And his lovely wife now has continued with me, and we are gonna get the rest of the property sold probably this year.
Wow. So half last year. So you could have, and everybody, I love what you said to start that whole conversation was it's 19 years in the making, because that's what, you've decided at one point to go into the property management, manage properties. Of course, people eventually sell them. And this was a home run scenario. I could tell you 2 or 3 home run scenarios in my past too, that were, I would say the same thing you just said, were accumulation of all the things. And it sounds like you did all the things right. So I always think when you do that, your momentum, I would even call it karma, right, comes back and pays off when you do the right thing, right, Rhonda? I believe that, and it sounds like you do too.
That is correct. And then I still had my regular business. So it was busy last year. I would get up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and spend two or 3 hours on the computer catching up, and then I could go about my day.
Wow, that is odd. But those are good hours, right? Because they're all like super beneficial and productive, and right.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So, just curious, because you're in Orange County. We were just talking about that earlier too. What were the average sale prices of his rental properties?
His average sale prices are above $1 million. I would say 1.2 to 1. What was the highest one we maybe sold? 1.4 for 1.5. So they were in a good price point. And keep in mind, these are properties that he picked up many, many years ago for $45,000, $60,000. And when I would look at the tax record and what he was paying for taxes, I just couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I love stories like that. People, you got to hear that, right? Well, real estate is appreciated so much that no, it's going to keep on appreciating, just like, we have inflation, we have all those things. And just like, we were talking earlier, you brought your property for X and it's quadrupled in value since, when did you say, 2000?
2000, I purchased my home. Yes. And now the price is shocking to me.
It's actually more than quadrupled in your case. You bought, that's amazing.
Yes.
Right. So I really think the story in here is, if you're consistent and you're diligent and you follow a system and do the right thing, there's going to be a serious run or payday. In your case, was extremely awesome, and it's going to be finishing this year. But I think the story in there is if you stay diligent and you stick to your job and do the right thing, I mean, there's a payday coming for everybody who does that.
Exactly. And repeat business. Repeat business is so important. I've helped people buy a house, and then a few years later it was too small, so we sold that house and we bought another house. They're upsizing, they're downsizing. So repeat business is crucial. Always stay in touch with your past clients.
So true. To me, massive customer, and our company initiative this year is Unreasonable Hospitality, right? The book, based on the book, Unreasonable Hospitality, which I think is great. And I tell people, like I was a prospector. I got on the phone. I talked to people. That's not for everybody, but I tell them that your customer service, really unreasonable customer service, over the top, is really the ultimate form of prospecting, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Well, good.
I agree.
Well, good. Well, I want to get right into my favorite question I love to ask top producers like yourself is your top 3 things. So I'm an agent, whether I'm brand new or whether I'm trying to take my business to the next level. What would be the 3 things you would tell them to focus on the most?
I think first is the more you learn, the more you will earn. So when I first became in the business, I was an agent for about a year, maybe a year and a half, and then I got my broker's license. Because I find it important to have all that information and to supply my clients with up-to-date information that they might want to know. So you continually take classes. You let everyone know that you are in the business. Your social sphere is very important. Everyone you spend money with, you let them know you're in the business. You go to the dry cleaners. You might drop a card. You are in the grocery store and someone brings something up. You jump in the conversation and say, hey, I sell real estate. I can answer that question. So I think being out there and continually improving your knowledge is very important.
Definitely.
Second, you want to hear my second one?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Follow up. Give frequent updates. Always good communication with your sellers, your buyers, your prospects. Stay in touch with past clients. If one of your clients has to call you and ask you what's going on, you failed to be aggressive and to be in front of them all of the time. They shouldn't have to call you. You should be calling them. I
agree, 100%. The fortune is in the follow-up.
Exactly. And they want to know that you're working as hard on their house as they are thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, I remember as an agent, even when I didn't have I don't have any update, but I just want you to know you're still on my mind. I'm still thinking about you. Those types of things too, right?
Exactly. You might mention what the rates are for the interest right now. You might mention some new thing that has happened, what showings are coming up, what open houses you have scheduled. You just keep them in the loop so they don't wonder what's going on.
I love it. Cool. All right.
And then
number 3.
Third is to always have gratitude. I have a sign here in my office, and it says the power of gratitude. And it's really an excellent one that I look at frequently. You be kind. You're a solution solver. Sometimes I'll go to sleep with a problem that I'm working on, and during the night I'll come up with solutions, and I write them down because the next morning I might not remember.
Yeah.
And then don't give up. You don't give up. The home inspection comes in and it's a disaster. Well, you have to work through that. And if the buyer still loves the house, there's a way to solve the problem. So
that's true.
I think that would be my third one.
All right. Yeah, I love it. It's such an interesting business too, isn't it? It's kind of like one of the things I talk about in my success stories, which I'm doing this week, is the thing about real estate that makes it great is you're an independent contractor, you're a solo entrepreneur, right? I like to say with us, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because we have systems and a brand. It's pretty incredible. And, but you still, I mean, you have, in your mind, you have to have exactly what you want to do, exactly where you want to go, and a system to get there, right? So you get paid what you're worth, and you get to decide what that value is, right?
Right. Yes.
Yes. Do you have, I mean, your gratitude, do you, are you into meditation? Are you into visualization? I mean, I know most people that are into gratitude have some kind of routine when it comes to gratitude.
Not really a routine, but I try to keep good balance in my life. I'm not going to do real estate 24/7. Yeah. I have a lot of other fun things that I like to participate in. So there's balance, and that's why I like to get up at 5 a.m. and do computer work and paperwork for 2 or 3 hours. So then I can go do what's important to me to balance my life for 2 to 3 hours. So balance is very important too. It can't all be work, or it wouldn't be fun for me anyway. So this is a vehicle that has allowed me to do that.
So true. And balance is so important. There's so many areas of your life, your family, your spirituality, your health, your mindset, and it's such an important part to people, because some people overdo it and their life becomes out of balance, and then it's a kind of a rough ride, right? If you're successful, but your relationships are going to crap, and your family and your kid, right? So that discipline to be balanced, and it's not easy to be balanced every day, is it?
No, it's not. You have to really work at it. I have I like the lined pads, the white lined pads, and every day I start with a date on the top, and I write down everything I need to do that day. And then as the day goes on, I check mark it as I get that done, and I frequently add things onto the next day for on my pad for the next day. So it's really important for me to have that accountability to myself, and my dog walks are on my calendar, and I love to ride horses, so my horse is on my calendar. And, grocery shopping. Sometimes I might put grocery shopping on there because it's time to go get groceries. So that's important too. I think organization, making yourself accountable for what you do. And then later I can look back and say, oh, look, I showed these people this house on Thursday. I need to follow up by Friday or Saturday and see what they thought about it. So I like to do that as well.
That's great. Yeah. And, I think all of that's critically important. I love horseback riding myself too. It's a dynamite. It's great exercise too. Right. But it's definitely head clearing when you go out there too, isn't it? I mean, it's like almost spiritual riding a horse. I think it is.
Yes. It's my passion. It's why I work.
That's great. Awesome. All right. So give us you mentioned customer service and staying in touch. And so what's your routine? How do you make sure your clients know that they're number one and that you stay in touch with them? And, I don't want to say work them for referrals, but that's kind of a natural thing that happens when you're consistent with them, right?
Correct. And you have to ask for referrals.
Right.
They think that you're self-sufficient and you don't need referrals. And so I will throw that in every once in a while and say, if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, please pass my name along or give them my card, or, and if you don't ask, you'll never get them. So I make a point of asking. You can bring it into the conversation casually. And all of my listings, I send at least one update a week by email so that it's in writing. And then I always end it with, please let me know if you have any suggestions or questions. Maybe they have a suggestion on what to do. And then, of course, if they have any questions, you always leave that open so that they can ask.
Right,
I
good.
sent out the magazine. What is it? It used to be Lifestyles. Forget what it's called now. but the magazine that I send out once about every 2 months, I guess.
The one in the VAC or the Resource Center?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's really
I'm trying to think of what it is too. I can't think. Yeah.
They will then, next time I see them, they'll say, "Oh, I got your magazine." They think it's my magazine, like I publish. Which of course we don't, but you get to put recipe cards in there, and they'll say, "I pulled out that recipe card for blah blah blah, and I really loved it." So I think that's good. Holiday time, I might bake some banana bread and pass it around at holiday time. You just try to stay in touch, and they become your friends as well.
Yeah.
So your friend circle gets larger, and I've gotten many referrals from all of that.
Right. Yeah, you could probably go back and say, well, we know that a major percentage of your business last year was one of your repeat customers over and over, Mr. Allen, because you've been treating him so well for so many years.
Correct.
Right. I could give you a couple examples too of my career. I remember I had a couple of guys like that. That would give me either they had properties or they would give me. I had one person list a 28 lot subdivision with me because I sold single lot for him 2 years before. Right, out of the blue, wasn't planning on it. Boom, right. Just like you probably knew this day was coming, and you probably thought it might happen before his 90s. But interesting that he waited until he got sick to start selling them off. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why wouldn't he start a little before? But I guess people's
he loved it.
Goals are
he loved it.
Right.
He loved it. He was a retired real estate broker, and he loved meeting me at the houses and giving me all that work to do. How much is it worth now, and how much if we do this, and how much if we do that. And then the contractor would be there, and he'd say, "Give me a price on this, and give me a price on that." And and he took a $45,000 property, and it became a 1.35 property. So,
right.
He always took good care of his properties. I loved work, a lot of leases. You will work for landlords that, "Oh, do we have to paint? Isn't that carpet okay for another few years?" He always kept his properties in pristine condition, which also was a benefit, and kept the value of the property up.
Yeah, and as I'm sure he planned this, because even back then you can be in a certain price range that makes renting make sense. But as they all came to an end there, he was right in that sweet spot price wise in Orange County, because the average some people on this call may not know this. The average sale price in Orange County right now is like what, almost 1.2, isn't it? The average sale price?
Yes, I would say that's very close. Yes.
It's 1.1 and change. It's not quite 1.2, but it's almost there. So he's in that sweet spot too, of because when you go to sell them, anything below 1.2 right now in Orange County was quicker than anything, let's say 1.4 or 5 and above, huh?
Right. Well, and Irvine is even more fantastic. The city of Irvine. I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I don't know. It's probably 1,400 square feet, 1,500 square feet, and we're going to list it at 1.5, and we'll get it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is so awesome. Well, Rhonda, anything I didn't ask you that you feel like mentioning?
No, I don't think so. I really love being with Berkshire Hathaway. I love everything that we have available to us to help us market and sell real estate. I love my manager, Jenny. I can call her and text her at any time, and she gets back to me with answers to the questions. So I'm just very fortunate, very grateful, and I love what I do.
Yes, it's very obvious you love what you do, and we love having you here. And I know your manager is your biggest fan, so that's all. Jenny she was so excited that you were number one, and we were excited for you too. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. Sounds like you got a definite shot at doing it again this year. I really appreciate you taking your time out today, just about 30 minutes here, to tell people how you do it, which I'm sure people will get some nuggets out of it too, Rhonda. So thank you very much for your time today. You have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, Rhonda.
You too, Rick. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.